a great pleasure right now to welcome back to our show a woman who was with us, I guess, about a year ago now when her previous book out called Unlikely Friendships just came out, and that has done very well. And now she has a new series of Unlikely Friendships books for children. And we're going to talk to her right now. Her name is Jennifer Holland. She writes for National Geographic and other magazines like Destination, Discovery. Who also works on the Discovery Channel. And Jennifer Holland joined us by telephone. How are you, Jennifer?
Hi, how are you?
Good to talk to you again. I guess it was about a year ago, right, when the first book came out?
Yeah, that sounds about right. I think it was June last year.
Yeah, congratulations on the success of that. That did incredibly well.
Thank you. Yeah, it seems to have hit it's resonating with people in a way I didn't expect.
I know the interview that we did, we posted it on YouTube as well, and that continues to get people to click on that. So, yeah, anytime you have animals, people like that.
That's right.
and animals that are taking care of each other, which is kind of the basis of these books. Animals you wouldn't expect to take care of each other or be together as kind of a family. That really is unusual, but it captures people's fascination, doesn't it?
It definitely does, yeah, and especially children. I think it really is it sends a great message to them, and they also just love the pictures.
Great pictures on the covers of the books. One is called The Monkey and the Dove, another one, The Dog and the Piglet, and I guess The Leopard and the Cow. Those are the three. It's a series of 3 children's books, right?
Yes, correct. And each one has 5 stories that we pulled from the original book and rewrote for a younger audience. So they're much simplified and good sort of reading practice books, plus just sweet stories to share with your kids.
When I know we kind of talked about it last time you were with us, but the whole, I guess, process of putting this together, how did you find out these particular relationships between the animals? How did you discover that?
Well, this type of story seems to be floating around quite a bit these days. There's sort of a phenomenon of cute animals on the internet, and over time you start to notice these photographs and wondering, are these set up pictures? Are these true stories? How does this happen? And the more I looked into it, the more I found that there really was a basis. There was truth behind all of these images and these wonderful moments between animals. So it just became clear that there were plenty of them out there to put together into a collection, and or more than one collection, I should say.
It is kind of surprising. I mean, I know dogs, in a sense, I've heard, they're pack animals. They will take care of other animals occasionally, but some of the more unusual combinations you wouldn't expect, right? Like an elephant and a sheep. You wouldn't expect them to really care about each other.
Exactly, yeah, and they wouldn't normally encounter each other at all, but in that case it was an elephant that had been orphaned, and elephants are really very social, and I think that elephant without a companion would not have done well at all. But the people that were taking care of the elephant brought in the sheep, and the sheep is a surprisingly intelligent and social animal as well. And after a little bit of a rocky start, the two really became buddies and truly had an affectionate friendship.
Do you think it's more of a case that it's an animal, maybe like an orphan animal, just got separated from its family or pack or whatever, and in other words, it wouldn't happen naturally, but if it's an unusual circumstance, is that why, or do you have any idea why this happens?
Well, I think in the stories that I looked into, there were a lot of them did have some sort of unusual circumstance that probably contributed to the animals' decision to befriend one another or to get close to one another. There were needs that were being filled by the other animal. But there are certainly cases where it's not really clear why it happened. And then, of course, in households where people bring up a lot of pets together, maybe it's a little less surprising, but still always a lot of fun to see, your cat and your bird or your iguana and your dog or whatever actually cuddling up together in bed.
Well, I know, and I lived about a mile away when I grew up in Long Island from Belmont Racetrack, and I had a chance to work there briefly and to visit it a lot. And the horses would like to have other animals around. They'd like to have a chicken around or a goat, or particularly dogs or cats. So I guess that's similar in a sense, right?
Yeah, absolutely. There's a social need in many mammals that's very similar to human need, and you definitely see that in those kinds of circumstances.
I like the one, I think we talked about it last time too, and you have it in one of the three books of Unlikely Friendship for Kids. So you talk about the monkey and the dove. You wouldn't even expect a bird would feel comfortable around a monkey. You think they'd want to get away from it, but it doesn't.
Yeah, it's another really interesting case. Doves tend to have a mate with them, and this one didn't. So again, it may have been a situation of loss or a need for companionship, and certainly on the monkey's part as well. It had been separated from its family, but they found comfort in each other for the time that they were together, and both animals eventually went back to their own kind. So I think that time together was important for their survival.
I guess it proves that we kind of think animals work on instinct alone, but you have to have some kind of thought process or heart within you for an animal to have that kind of compassion. I guess compassion is the word I'm trying to think of. You don't expect that to be in the animal kingdom, right?
That's right. I think so, and especially in cases where you see, for example, there's a seeing eye cat, a cat that took a blind dog under her wing. I guess that doesn't make sense, but she really led the dog around to the water bowls, the food bowl, and took it upon herself to be the companion animal to this dog. And something like that does make you wonder. There seems to be more going on there than just instinct.
Yeah, it's great to think about, and well, you have another project in the works, Jennifer. I know you're an animal lover. You work for you write for National Geographic. So what's next?
I will be working on a sequel to Unlikely Friendships, and in addition, continuing to write for National Geographic magazine. I have a project with them coming up this summer, and another book idea in mind. So I'm keeping very busy.
Great.
Away.
We'll look forward to talking to you next time you have a project out. Again, these are called Unlikely Friendships for Kids. It's a series of 3 books. And do you have a website, Jennifer? Can we get more information on the books?
Sure. There is a website, unlikelyfriendships.tumblr, TUMBLR.com. And Unlikely Friendships also has a Facebook page, so people can friend us and post their own funny stories and pictures and read ours.
Oh, great.
People will check that out.
We'll look forward to, I'm sure these are going to be as successful as the previous edition, and we'll look forward to talking to you again next time you have something come out. Thanks for joining us today.
Thanks for having me.